Hello and welcome. It's 4 o'clock this Monday afternoon. I'm Smita Sharma and let's get started with the breaking news that's coming in. It's official now. The former Controller Auditor General or the CAG Vinod Rai will now head a 4-member administrative panel appointed by the Supreme Court to run till fresh elections are called for the cricketing body. What we are learning from the Apex Court is that historian Ramachandra Guha, former women's cricket team captain Diana Irulji and former IDFC chairman Vikram Limai will also be a part of the board. In fact, Anusha Soni, who's tracking the story from the court, is also telling us that Vikram Limai, one of the 4 administrators, along with Amita Chaudhary of the BCCI, will be representing India in the ICC, the International Cricket Council meeting that is likely to be held in the first week of February. Shivani Gupta, my colleague who tracks all the entire sporting world, is now live with us from the newsroom. Shivani, break down the Supreme Court verdict for our viewers.
That's right. So this is a 4-member panel that has been named to run BCCI till fresh elections are called. Just for the benefit of our viewers, this has been required because the top brass and a host of BCCI officials in states and in the centre body have been asked to leave their positions. So the Supreme Court had asked not just the amicus curiae in this case, Gopal Subramaniam, but also later the BCCI and the centre to suggest names to head the BCCI till fresh elections are called. And now what we're hearing is that a 4-member panel has been announced. It's a pretty varied panel. It has a former cricketer, but a woman former cricketer. It has a former CAG Vinod Rai, who was also related to the BCCI in the past. Vikram Limai is a banker currently with the IDFC. And also historian, notably cricket historian, Ram Guha is also part of this panel. So it's a varied panel. And now it's going to be the responsibility of this panel to run BCCI affairs and also oversee the implementation of LODA reforms in the body, also in state bodies. The IPL is coming up, the Champions Trophy is coming up, a very, very crucial period for this body to now oversee and head the BCCI, the richest cricket board in the world, the biggest sporting body in India. This is going to be a new era really for the BCCI.
Yeah, the Supreme Court, I believe, has also asked, in fact, the CEO of the BCCI to submit a report to the panel of administrators, the 4-member panel that you're talking about, to be headed by the former CAG Vinod Rai. By when are we expecting the fresh election dates to be announced for the BCCI?
I'm sorry, Smita, I couldn't quite hear you clearly.
By when are we expecting election dates for the cricketing body?
Yeah, so that's going to happen anytime in the next 3 months. It's going to take some time now that this body has come into being. What is the role of Amitabh Chaudhary and Amitabh Chaudhary? That is also to be seen. Also, the SGM will have to be called. But currently, a lot of the state bodies are also without heads, or they're in the process of calling for fresh elections. So it is going to take some time. We're expecting in the next 3 months it should be done.
There's another, in fact, flash that, our colleague Anusha Soni has passed out to Shivani, and we'll try and patch to her also. She's tracking the case in the Supreme Court, which says that, in fact, 2 of the Vikram Limai and Amita Chaudhary will be representing India in an ICC meeting, which is likely to be held in the first week of February. Could you throw some more light on that?
That's right. So the BCCI needs someone to represent the board at the ICC level. And these names were also something that were to be decided upon. The BCCI had, of course, suggested its own names in this regard as well. And as you mentioned, the Supreme Court has finalized these names. Representing the BCCI and the ICC is of crucial importance, as you can imagine, because they report to the world governing body, the ICC, this is where a lot of the future stores program and financial division is taken care of. So a lot of India's interests now will effectively be represented by these 2.
Shivani, request you to stay with us because we are joined by Diana Irulji, of course, a former cricketer, and you can also take questions from her. Diana, first of all, you are a part of this 4-member panel. Would you be able to elaborate a little bit on how do you plan to go ahead now? What is the kind of blueprint that the panel would have?
Actually, it is too early to say what my plans are because I've just got the news from the media. I haven't yet received any official confirmation from the Supreme Court or from BCCI. once we get into it and know what my role is, I will be able to elaborate a little more. But I'm very, very happy and that I've been named on this prestigious panel of 4 members, 3 very big people, and being the only player, male or female.
Right.
I think it's a huge responsibility put onto my shoulders.
But before Shivani wants to take questions with you, just one quick question though, Diana.
Yeah.
As you said that these are 3 people who are actually from non-cricketing sort of experiences or backgrounds, be it Ramchandra Guho, Vinod Rai, or Vikram, in fact Limai. So it's a very varied panel. What kind of experience do you see them bringing in terms of cleaning up the administration?
Well, it is a mixture because there is Vinod Rai, who is the ex-CAG, and with Mr. Limay, an ex-banker. So these people will help out in all the tenders and all the financial matters which are going to be taking place there. And Guha, I'm sure, as far as I know, is also a very keen follower of his cricket, and he's a historian. So I think it's a big responsibility for me to really be able to pull it off, and I'm glad the Supreme Court has thought me fit enough to be on the panel. I hope I'll be able to do justice.
Well, it is a big responsibility. Shivani Gupta would like to ask you a question. Shivani, please go ahead.
Sure.
Diana Adilji, congratulations on being named in this panel. You were widely speculated to be as someone who would be named. But are you surprised at all by the miss of any former male cricketer in this panel?
Definitely. I'm absolutely surprised that only a woman cricketer has been named in this panel. I was expecting at least 1 male cricketer. But anyway, let's hope I can do justice to this role. And we'll need all the blessings of all of you to guide me on the right path.
Personally, Diana, what is your kind of vision that you have?
From the BCCI now, because we've seen in the past that they haven't quite cooperated fully in this matter.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Are you expecting full cooperation from those who have just been ousted, those who may come back, those who will be elected fresh? Because so far the BCCI officials haven't quite cooperated fully.
I hope so. Well, now I think this should be the final judgment, and hope now everything is passed, and we look forward and working going forward and taking the cricket in India, men and women, on a higher plane.
Ma'am, if I could ask you, I know this is too soon after the announcement, but what is going to be your top priority in this way forward?
Because I don't even know what my role exactly is in this committee. What is the role of the committee? So once we get more into the nitty-gritties, only then I would be able to really. Just now it is just hit me very hard, and I'm really taken aback by being the only player. But I definitely will work and do on an honest job, definitely.
Ma'am, would you concede that this is an absolute new era for the BCCI, unprecedented, unheard of? We obviously saw this coming, but now you're going to be part of the new history of the BCCI.
Yes, I know that it's going to be a very difficult task, but I knew it had to happen, but I didn't know that I would be the only one from the players' side. I would have liked it to have a male cricketer. But anyway, whatever has been done, the Supreme Court found it fit enough. I respect their judgment and look forward to working now hard.
All right, Diana Adilji named in the 4-member panel to run the BCCI till fresh elections are called. Smita, it's back to you for now.
Right, many thanks, Shivani. Just do stay with us because I'm also joined by Anusha Soni. Anusha, of course, you gave us all these very important flashes today. Take us through, in terms of the next steps now as to what is the Supreme Court's expectations from the BCCI, this panel as well as the CEOs.
Well, Smita, just to put things in the background, this is a new bench headed by Justice Deepak Mishra, and ever since the centre intervened in the BCCI matter, a fresh, a breath of life had come to the entire game, and the entire game of BCCI, the way it was playing out in the Supreme Court. Earlier, it was thought that the BCCI has lost it all, but with the centre's backing, the BCCI was able to suggest certain names to the Supreme Court. From here on, this 4-member panel, the CEO of the BCCI, which is currently at the helm of affairs, who's taking care of the entire, running of the BCCI, will report to this 4-member committee. This 4-member committee will also be, assisted by the Lodha panel, which is already working on this. Also on the other side will be the centre and the BCCI. So different parties from different sides are going to make pressure on this body. Now this is about the implementation of these reforms. So remember a year earlier, back in July 2016, when the order on the Lodha panel reforms had come, it was the Justice Lodha panel which was at the centre. It gave out the reforms and it was about this implementation. Now we are seeing this third body which is at the helm of affairs now, and now it's about the last nail in the coffin, which is about the implementations of these much awaited Lodha panel recommendations.
Okay, Anusha, to stay with me, I'm also joined by Rahul Rawat, my colleague. Rahul, any reactions so far initial? I know the news has just come in, but it looks like a pretty surprising move to actually not have a male cricketer in the body other than a woman cricketer, which is Diana Irolji. Okay, looks like we've lost that line with Rahul. But, Anusha, was there any reason cited for this move? The question that I was posing to Rahul, how come there's actually no male cricketer in this body?
Well, Smita, this question is something we can ask here in the public discourse, but when the Supreme Court gives out these names, in an order of the Supreme Court, for them, it's simply that there is a cricketer in one of the 4 administrators. It is not very important for the court that whether it's a male, cricketer or a female cricketer. Largely, the judiciary is not exactly about to look at it in this way. And, even speaking from a point of view of representing the cricket, the cricketing society, whether it's a female cricketer or a male cricketer, in my point of view, doesn't make much of a difference as long as the sports of cricket is represented.
No, it definitely does not make a difference in my point of view to Anusha, but it's just that when you think about the BCCI and the cricketing body, it's almost like this male bastion with glass ceiling. So it will come as a surprise to many. But, in terms of the next representation at the ICC also, I believe the Supreme Court has passed in certain directions.
Yes, 2 names have been given, which does include one of the administrators. This ICC meeting is supposed to be happening some time in the month of February. And the argument of the BCCI has been that about 300 people have been disqualified just by the order of the 2nd January. So clearly we do not have names who can go forward and represent. So from here, one of the administrators will go ahead and represent, and then there is another name which has been given by the Supreme Court order. 2 names so far which will go ahead and represent the country to the ICC. Another very important point, Smita, which we must put emphasis on, that, the suggestion of the government that the sports secretary should be appointed as one of the administrators has been struck down by the Supreme Court, and the court actually noted down that it has already been brought to the notice of the Supreme Court that if there is a government representation in the administrators, it does not go well with the norms of the ICC. So the Supreme Court, completely disagreed with the suggestion of the Attorney General that there should be any form of government representation as far as the panel of administrators is concerned.
Right. Shivani Gupta is also back with us on the broadcast. Shivani, there was an important question that you were asking Diana about what kind of cooperation does she expect from people who are on their way out, who've been thrown out. What's the sense that you're getting really, after this entire upheaval in the BCCI in terms of the old members? What's the sense you're getting from them?
Smita, I think I can wrap up what the sense from the BCCI is from the fact that the news yesterday we got after a BCCI call within its members was to nominate ousted Anurag Thakur and Ajay Shirke and former disgraced President N. Srinivasan as its names for the panel. So you can understand where they stand. They are obviously those who were in power those who were in power weren't quite willing to go away. I believe we have former cricketer Kirti Azad with me. Kirti, how do you look at this development and the 4-member panel that has been announced?
Well, it's better than later, better than late. All I can say is it's a very good panel, and I wish them all the luck. The recommendations are there. They are in white, black and white. So I hope that they immediately get on to work, implement these LODA recommendations in all the state associations and also the BCCI, and we'll have at least a clean BCCI after some time.
Kirti, if you can still hear me, while we celebrate the fact that there's a woman cricketer who has been nominated in the panel and the only cricketer in the panel, are you surprised? Because Diana Elderji said she was surprised that there was no male cricketer in the panel. Are you too?
No, I'm not surprised. Why should I be surprised? Diana is really good. She is the pride of the country. She's a girl child. I have known her for a very long time. She's a great cricketer. And I feel really honored that she's one of the 4 in the list, and she shouldn't be surprised. She deserves it, and she deserves it well.
Kirti, we've seen quite a few twists and turns in this matter. The Attorney General coming in after the verdict had already been passed, even asking for a sports secretary to be part of the panel. The BCCI wanting to nominate Anurag Thakur, Shirke or N. Srinivasan in the panel. Do you expect that they will be set straight now?
Well, this is it. This is it. I mean, this is the panel. The Supreme Court has announced the panel. Now they will immediately go look into the recommendations, see to it that they are implemented on all the state associations. It's a fantastic thing. It's not a permanent panel. Once the job is over, the panel also gets abolished. But then this is what was needed. I stand vindicated. I had been talking about the ills that have plagued the BCCI for such a long time. I call them a united alliance, united in corruption alliances for position. So that now their unity and their alliance goes. You'll have clean people. There'll be a 3-hour sabbatical you have to take if you become an office bearer. Those who have completed 9 years in the BCCI or in state associations won't be there. Anybody over the age of 70 cannot come and contest these elections. And the cozy club, the most importantly, the cozy club that we had will have nothing to do with cricket. There will be an Apex Council where the cricketers will look after the game of cricket. The CEO will look into the financial and the administrative aspect. Those who get elected will get their passes to come and watch a game whenever their state hosts one. But then they'll have nothing to do with the game of cricket or with its administration or with its financial management.
Kirti Azad, thanks a lot for joining us. This is going to be a fresh start for the BCCI, and the man who started it all with the petition in the IPL spot fixing saga, Aditya Verma, is speaking right now.
मीटिंग के लिए भेजना है, रेवेन्यू का मामला है, पता नहीं कैसा रेवेन्यू का मामला है, और आईसीसी में खुद बीसीसीआई के पूर्व अध्यक्ष जो हिंदुस्तान के काबिल लॉयर भी हैं, श्री शशांक मनोहर साहब, वो चेयरमैन के रूप में वहाँ बैठे हुए हैं, लेकिन फिर भी सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने आज 3 नामों को सिर्फ इस मीटिंग के लिए जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव पैनल उसमें से एक डिसाइड करेगा, वो नाम है मिस्टर लीमय, मिस्टर अमिताभ चौधरी और मिस्टर अनिरुद्ध चौधरी। ये एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव पैनल इसमें से किस एक नाम को भेजेगा अगले हफ्ते मीटिंग होने के ये जो है दुबई में, उसके लिए ये बात की बात है। लेकिन सबसे अफसोस रहा इस पूरे मुकदमे के दौरान कि हर कोई ने अपनी बातें कही, किसी को अपने वोट बैंक की चिंता थी, टेरिटरी कुछ भी हो, आबादी कुछ भी हो, लेकिन जस्टिस लोढ़ा कमेटी के इस रिकमेंडेशन पे कि हिंदुस्तान के सारे राज्यों के बच्चों को ये मौलिक अधिकार है कि हिंदुस्तान के इतने प्यारा गेम क्रिकेट को खेलेंगे। लेकिन मुझे अफसोस के साथ कहना पड़ा है कि यही बीसीसीआई अपने बचाव में, या राज्य क्रिकेट संघ किसी का वोट का दिक्कत था, लेकिन किसी को, खास करके बीसीसीआई वालों को, जिनको शर्म भी नहीं आती है कि आज हिंदुस्तान का तीसरा सबसे बड़ा राज्य बिहार क्रिकेट खेलने से पिछले 16 सालों से वंचित है, और जिस बिहार के बारे में 2 पैराग्राफ जस्टिस लोढ़ा कमीशन ने अपने रिपोर्ट में कहा था। लेकिन ये बिहार हो, नॉर्थ ईस्ट स्टेट हो और स्टेट हो, किसी को चिंता नहीं है कि यहाँ के बच्चे क्रिकेट खेले। बस इनकी कुर्सी कैसे बची रही, कैसे ये जो इतने साल से घाल मटोल कर रहे थे, अगर इनका दिल इतना साफ था, ये इतने इम्प्लीमेंट के प्रति अगर जवाबदेह थे, तो जस्टिस लोढ़ा कमीशन ने जब इनसे डिलॉयट जो वर्ल्ड का एक नामी ऑडिटर कंपनी है उसके 3 साल के रिपोर्ट को आज तक इन्होंने जस्टिस लोढ़ा कमेटी को क्यों नहीं सबमिट किया। ये सब सारी चीज़ें बताती हैं कि बीसीसीआई में शायद वो स्कैम खुले तो हिंदुस्तान का एक बहुत बड़ा स्कैम बन के निकलेगा। लेकिन चलिए, मुझे खुशी इस बात की है कि इनके सारे ताम झाम, सारे जो भी इनके अनर्गल काम है, उसको आज हमारे देश के सर्वोच्च न्यायालय ने अपने नोटिस में लिया है। और जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव पैनल बना है, जो जस्टिस लोढ़ा पैनल के देख रेख में आगे के बीसीसीआई में कैसे इम्प्लीमेंट हो, जिसको जो आपत्ति हो। और मुझे खुशी है कि मैं भी अपने, चूँकि बिहार को फुल रणजी ट्रॉफी स्टेटस जस्टिस लोढ़ा कमेटी के रिपोर्ट में मिला था, तो मैं भी अपनी बातें एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव पैनल के सामने पूरे सबूत के साथ जाके रखूंगा कि 1935 का एक तरह से फाउंडर मेंबर बिहार को किस तरह से राज बंटने के पश्चात उठा के बाहर फेंक दिया गया था। क्या ये बीसीसीआई के कोई भी आके बता सकते थे कि बिहार का क्या गुनाह था, बिहार के बच्चों का क्या गुनाह था? लेकिन मुझे खुशी है कि सर्वोच्च न्यायालय ने जिस एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव पैनल का गठन किया है, देश का सम्मानित पैनल है, और उस पैनल के सामने मैं क्रिकेट एसोसिएशन ऑफ बिहार के पिटिशनर अपने काउंसिल के थ्रू अगले 1 हफ्ता के अंदर रिप्रेजेंट करूंगा और अपनी बातें रखूंगा कि हमारे बच्चों के मौलिक अधिकार को पिछले 16 सालों से जो छीना जा रहा है, ये देखा जाए और अपनी रिपोर्ट लोढ़ा जी और सुप्रीम कोर्ट को दिया जाए। धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू सर।
Okay, so that was, of course, the petitioner in the case, Aditya Verma, following which we have seen these historic moves on the directions of the Supreme Court as far as the cricketing body, the richest cricketing body in the world is concerned. Rahul Rawat is back on the broadcast with us. Rahul, you know, first for Aditya Verma, what a triumphant day today. A man perhaps who was hardly heard of in the national audience scenario. He's created such a tumult. You know, just for the benefit of the viewers, take us through really what had motivated Aditya Verma first of all to go in for this.
Well, in fact, Aditya Verma can be termed as a crusader because, you know, of course, there were a few people from within the BCCI. That is what has always been said. That there have been a few people within the BCCI and outside as well who have been helping him and supporting him in you know, getting a few things, like for example initially when there was this conflict of interest by Mr. N. Srinivasan, the former ICC chairman and BCCI president as well. So it's a long story in fact with Aditya Verma. He in fact here also he is the main petitioner everywhere. So because the Cricket Association of Bihar is not a recognized body by the BCCI, but under the Lodha committee, as per the Lodha committee recommendations, which says that every state has to have one vote and has to have some sort of recognition. So he also thinks that Cricket Association of Bihar comes back into the picture, although we'll have to see whether he is an eligible candidate or not, because he's also been he's also part of Cricket Association of Bihar for a very long time, although of an unrecognized body.
Right.
And as for today, the development, the form, yeah.
Okay, Rahul Rawat, do stay with us, but Anusha, you know, take us through in terms of the CEO of the BCCI who now has to submit a report. What is the Supreme Court expecting on it?
Well, there has been a lot of pressure as far as the Attorney General and the centre is concerned, and the BCCI and the centre both were seen to be on the same side, arguing that, you know, the earlier July 2016 order of the Lodha panel recommendation violates the rights of the state associations. So as a middle ground between the amicus curiae, BCCI and the centre, the court has said that, you know, the CEO will go ahead and report to the administrators. Further, there should be a report from the Lodha panel as to what are the recommendations objections which have been made, what was the timeline, according to the Lodha panel, how many of them have been implemented. Also, the BCCI had its own points, which they wanted to make to the panel, and they said that through the CEO, they are going to make those points to the administrators, that what are the reforms that they have already implemented and what are the objections which continue to remain. Also remember, though it's a little bit technical right now, but the centre and the BCCI continue to challenge the July 2016 order, and they say that it is violative of a lot of rights of the state associations, especially under Article 19(1)(c), which is the right to form an autonomous independent associations in the country.
Okay, Shivani, what are you picking up from your sources as to how are the erstwhile members now really looking at this decision?
Well, Smita, it's too early to say. They definitely didn't get what they were trying to perhaps achieve by nominating those within their own fold to head as administrators. That did not fly. Perhaps they saw that coming as well, because they had created a backup list as well. But now they have no choice, Smita, then the likes of Amitabh Chaudhary and Amitabh Chaudhary to come and work in conjunction together with the CEO and these administrators. They're not going anywhere. They're going to be there running the affairs and keeping a close watch on not just the financial matters, but the matter of implementation of reform till fresh elections and a fresh body is formed. I just wanted to elaborate on the point mentioned by Anusha about the sports secretary. If you would remember, the Lodha panel recommendations itself included that no government servant or current minister should be part of BCCI or any state bodies. They didn't bar politicians per se, but no current minister or government servant was allowed. So this kind of flows from that as well.
Okay, we'll leave it there for now. Anusha Soni, Shivani Gupta, Rahul Rawat, appreciate you joining us on the broadcast with the very latest. Clearly, these are the winds of change that's literally blowing as far as the BCCI is concerned, following those Supreme Court directives. It's time for a